Welcome to Kiwis in Aussie podcast that's trying to help Kiwis navigate their new life in Australia. In each episode, we will share experiences, explore essential tips. I'm your host, Jasmeet, it's like the music jazz, and you meet over it, who's made the leap across the ditch and provide expert advice to make sure that your transition is as smooth as humanly possible. Let's embark on this exciting journey together. I wish you the absolute best. See you on the other side.
Oh, good day, Bob. How are you going, my friend?
Hey, Jasmeet, I'm good. How are you doing?
It's great. Looks like you somewhere, I don't know, at the beach somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just here at the spot Brighton Beach in Melbourne. So I'm
Oh,
tuning in from
wow.
here. I just finished
The
a
weather
meeting and
weather
yeah,
doesn't, wow. Yeah, not
yeah,
the best. Yeah.
the weather is not good. I finished a meeting and I have another meeting around 5:30. So I thought I'll just tune in from here rather than going
Yeah,
back.
absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Hopefully you're enjoying the cold.
yeah, it's a bit cold.
Fantastic. Hey, look, man, that's all right. We've got to do what we got to do. We have committed ourselves to really help as many as Kiwis as we can. So, welcome to episode number 4. Organizing the pet relocation is what we're doing. Welcome back
Yeah.
to Kiwis in Aussie podcast. Helping navigate Kiwis their life in Australia. I'm your host Jasmeet and Bob. What we're trying to do is we're trying to discuss about how to organize pet relocation with your big move. So, why is it important to plan pet relocation carefully? You want to make sure that you don't go through a lot of turbulence because you already have a lot of changes going on. So you want to make sure you reduce your stress in a way that you find the right people and you can choose them. Number two, you want to obviously make sure that your fur baby or pet, whatever it may be, is good and it's taken care of, and it does not come back with broken bones or something. You absolutely want to make sure. At the same time, compliance and regulation, it's very strict in Australia. So we have to follow the compliance and regulation that they have. So we're going to talk about the steps that's involved in organizing the pet relocation. So I'm going to start with just a couple of things. Um, we have been looking in the group, and Jet Pets, sorry, and Aero Pets, they have been the most popular one. Having
Yeah.
said that, this podcast is not funded by them or sponsored by them. None of that. We're not doing any of that. So please do your due diligence, because I haven't really used them personally. I'm pretty sure, Bob, you have used. Which one did you use, and how was your experience?
So I used Auckland Pet Services. Again, depending upon the area you are in as well, right, in New Zealand. So you might want to, what we always recommend is get three quotes from different companies.
Yeah.
These the jet pets and the aero pets are the most popular ones that I think mostly people are using them, but you want to do your own research. So I used Auckland Pet Services, and my experience was really good with them. So
Okay.
yeah, so they looked after the whole thing. They look
Mhm.
after from the getting the checks to to organizing the crate, and then booking the flights, and then just getting it all done for us. So it took a lot of stress away. Again, when you get your codes, you need to
How long did it take?
take for what?
How long did it take for them to make sure that your pet is on the way? Because I've heard some horror stories that some of the companies are taking way longer, or they're
No,
way too busy. How
look.
long did it take?
It was actually a breeze, to be very honest. Our dog
Okay.
came in the same flight, so it traveled in the same flight. So some of the Air New
Oh,
Zealand flights
wow.
they allow pets. It can't be in the cabin, so it's in a different compartment. So
Sure.
he flied in the same flight, and we got him at the Melbourne airport 2 hours after our flight landed. So the experience was
Also,
really good. So we came in the same flight, and when we landed, we asked the crew to check on our pet that he's doing okay,
sure.
because we were little worried that how he survived during the flight and all that kind of stuff. because
Of
he's
course, you
like
yeah.
like a baby. So I said, okay, is he doing okay? Is
Of
he still
course,
alive? And then we make
alive.
sure
Of course,
yeah,
he's
we were
alive.
worried. We
No,
were
no,
worried
I'm just
because
kidding. By the way,
we were worried that will he
of course,
survive,
we all
because
should be. Yeah.
it can be very daunting. So yeah, the
It can be very daunting.
crew confirmed that he's got water, and he's happy, he's okay. And then yeah, we have to wait. We have to get out of the Melbourne airport and go towards the freight site. We just walk
Sure.
towards the freight contest freight area, and we have to wait there a couple of hours. And we got our pet. They delivered it. Obviously, they have to do a check when the pet lands. The guy came and did the check, and then he handed over the pet to us. So it was a really good experience. Um,
That's
one
good,
thing I
man.
would like
Yeah,
to
because
share,
Lucas.
yeah.
Sure. Please go. No, no, keep going. Sorry, no, no, keep going. Yes.
One thing I would like to share is you when you get your quotes, right, you need to make sure how much your dog weighs, because the weight will make a difference. You need to know how much is the weight of your dog. You give it to them, and then they will give you options for the grade. So companies will give you a quotation that, okay, you want to buy your own crate, or you want to do your own vet checks, and do this and that. But what we did is, because we had so much going on, we said we want you guys to do the whole lot, and they
Sure.
did all the check. They organized the crate, and we just hand over our dog a day before, and then we got the dog
Mm.
when we landed in Australia. So it was really good.
Sounds like a breeze, man. That's amazing. So kudos to the company again. I like I said, this podcast or none of the podcasts are sponsored by any company, so we're not trying
No.
to we do any of that. It's just that we're just trying to share experiences is what we do. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to go through the very important points. What I think is going to be really helpful for most of the people who are trying to move with their fur babies. Also, we can send you the PDF files for this if you need that. So please feel free to reach out. So quickly, check import requirements. So make sure the quarantine regulations, vaccinations, and health certificates are in place. Microchipping, I think that's what they do, right? Microchipping. What do they do with
Yeah,
that, man?
microchip, they just check that the dog has up to date and the microchip is working. So
Okay.
there is a scanner that the vet has that can actually check. They can just scan the dog and see the microchip is working, and then there is a check
Okay.
before the dog leaves here as well. That dog needs to pass that check, and there's another check when they land. So there's a couple of checks, but yeah,
Yes.
it's
So this was where I was
nothing too
heading to.
major. Yeah.
This is exactly where I was heading to. So thank you so much for helping me just aligning that even better. So the second point that I would want to advise to everyone is visit the vet. Health checkups that needs to be done. Again, vaccination, all the confirmation needs to be done about the vaccinations are up to date for a baby or for whatever pet that you might have. Obtain necessary documents because they probably need all the documents to look at as well. This is something that you've already mentioned, but again, I want to make sure that we quickly mention that we cover this in the podcast and obviously send the PDF file. That arrange for travel. Again, choose the right crate, and you've already mentioned that you actually have to share the weight with the pet services, relocation company, so that they can make sure that they have the right crate. The other one is prepare for the journey. Make sure you have all the travel plans, all the documents, confirm the items, the feeding schedule. So, what did they do with the feeding schedule, mate?
It's up to the people, so they can feed the dog whatever you give them, or they have their own.
Okay,
Like the company I use, they also have a kennel, right? So it's like a dog hotel as well. So they kept my
okay.
dog and they feeded my dog. They looked after him. They updated me with the text messages. Very great updates. So I know what's exactly happening
What's
with
happening?
my dog.
Cool.
And so yeah, it's actually not that stressful. But I think instead of people doing the MPI check, the vet check, that has to be
Hmm.
done 24 hours before the dog leave from New Zealand. It's better for
What
them
is
to
that
give it.
check again? What was that check again? Sorry.
I think it's called MPI check, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I think it's called MPI
Okay.
check, but it's like a vet,
Okay.
it's like a health check for the dog, that the dog is healthy, doesn't have any disease. And that has to be done within 24 hours of the leaving
Before.
the country. So what we did is we left our dog with the Auckland Air Pets a day before our flight. They got the check
Sure.
done, and then the next day the dog stayed with them overnight, and they got him to the airport, and then yeah, he came in the same flight, and then yeah, it was really good. It was a good
You
experience, so
didn't
we
have to
didn't
do
have
any of
to.
the customs or quarantine
Nothing.
at all. Did the company
We
look
don't have
after
to do
that?
any paperwork. They do all the
Okay,
paperwork.
great.
So that is the thing, right?
Fantastic.
So they give when you get a quotation, make sure when people are getting the quotation, make sure that they get the quotation for the whole thing, like trade,
Sure.
getting all the checks and getting all the custom as well. So the only thing I have to do on top of what the fees I paid them, I paid, I think, about 3,000 something. The only thing I have to
Okay.
pay extra was a small custom freeze here at the airport, which was only at Melbourne Airport in Australia. That was hundred
Sure.
and something dollars, and that was just custom when they arrive here. So that everything else was all looked after by them, and I just paid one fees.
That's amazing, man. So thank you so much for sharing the experience. I think that's even better. Last couple of points are, look, I know you got to, so if you are obviously hiring someone who can do the custom and quarantine, that will be a big, stretch relief, if you want to call that. And you can also, you need to make sure you've got a pickup and arrange accordingly, whether the the pet is coming with you. I've seen some of the stories on the group that some of the pets are coming after or before because of their family. I don't know the exact
Look,
the sequence that you're going to be particularly using, but be very, very careful. But lastly, I do want to mention that, look, I know it's pets are part of the family, but make
yeah,
sure that you stay calm. Obviously, trust the professionals that they're going to do the job well,
yeah.
and hopefully your pet arrives very well. Maybe in the same flight, it's even better. And if you can just have to wait for a couple of hours to get them, and I think that's probably it. Anything else you want to add, my friend?
Just I think what we did is, because we were quite worried that how if our pet will survive and want to make this transition smoother. So what we did was we
Mm,
actually shortlisted some flights
sure.
that we wanted to book. So before we booked it, we sent it to our company, the pet relocation company, and we asked them, "Hey,
Hmm.
can you please check if we can get our dog in the same flight?" So they got back to us really quickly, and they said, "Yes, this is NZ17 or some this flight. You can fly with your dog in the same flight, even though you won't be able to meet the dog, but he will be flying in the same flight."
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's
So
just
yeah, yeah, so because it's a different area for them that they have to get passed through, because dogs, for example, at Auckland Airport, there's no dogs allowed, right? So you can't take dogs there. Even in your car, it's not allowed. So they follow the process. They go through a different area.
of course.
So it can be possible. You can travel with the dog in the same flight. You just have to align it, give them the flight options that you're trying to book, ask them that if your dog can fly in the same flight, and if they say yes, you can book your flight straight away. And then, yeah, way to go. And you can pick up your dog same day as well when you land. One last thing, what we did when we landed there, we booked. And then the other thing, question people might have is that how we gonna travel our van once we land there? How we gonna take our dog to the home, right? So what we did, the easiest way, what I found is until unless you have a family, but for me, there was no one here. So what I did, I called 13 cabs. They have a bigger vans available, which is and then that van has a lot of storage. So those vans are pet friendly. So you can actually, and that van had a lot of storage for the luggage as well. So we booked that 13 cab at the airport, and it was there straight away. The service is quite quick, and we got 13 cab, and it wasn't it wasn't expensive, so we don't have to pay any premium price. We just paid a normal price. So we booked the cab from the freight area when our dog was out. So they came, they picked all of us, our family, four of us, plus the dog, plus all of our luggage, and dropped us home. And that costed me $100. $100. That's it. Depending where you're going as well. How far is that from the airport? But so it wasn't so the options are there, guys. If you get stuck, if you still have questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Jasmeet. We are more than happy to help, and it can be that complicated. But yeah, if you're trying to do all by yourself, it can be quite stressful. But I guess if you're using the right company who can take the stress away and look after your dog, so it can be a smooth journey as well.